People were wondering if I brought anything back with me from the Paul Bunyan show, and actually I did. A couple things. Number one, I got a bit of a cold, so I don't know who it was that got me sick or where along the way on my travels I picked up a little bug, but I'm a little bit under the weather. The other thing I will show you here in a little bit, something that someone gifted to me that is pretty cool. So yesterday I did run a little bit of wood through the 37D. Like I mentioned before I left, sometimes coming back from shows like the Paul Bunyan show, you kind of get that itch. You kind of get motivated to just go out, run some equipment, split some wood. So yesterday I split a little wood with the 37D. I ran the kindlet for a little bit, making some more mini cherry firewood. And then I was looking at, around the 37D, and I figured it was just time to clean that up. Just do a little cleanup. I used to put down a tarp underneath the splitter, and then that just got all shredded up and ended up freezing to the ground. And so it's just easier to just, take a shovel, scoop things up. I don't need to get it perfectly clean. So just doing a little maintenance around the splitter here. And don't worry, everyone, I know what you're probably thinking. That whole big bucket full of slash that I dumped over here on the winter bonfire pile, you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, how can you throw away all of that kindling? Why don't you pick through all that and get all those pieces out there that, you can make some decent kindling? Well, number one, I really don't need a lot of kindling because I have plenty, and I only start a fire. Well, on Friday nights, I start fires every now and then, but for the most part, the boiler's going, so I don't need to start any more fires. And I actually do pull out some of the bigger pieces of kindling, some of the bigger slash. And there it is right there. So what I do is I'll take this now and I put this right over here next to the splitter. And then as I'm splitting, the bigger pieces of slash I will pick out and throw in here. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was gifted a tool, a hand tool down at the Paul Bunyan show. JB Brown. JB, if you're watching, once again, greatly appreciate this. I forgot what you called this, but this is another tool that is used to take the bark off of logs. And I've actually used it a little bit. It works pretty good. You got to kind of get the bark kind of going, and then you can just take this and kind of get it up underneath there and pull the bark right off. So yeah, I forgot what he called this, but I now have one. So thanks again, JB. I'll be putting that to use because I have a few more logs I want to try to take the bark off of for some mini firewood. So speaking of mini firewood, a few weeks ago, I think it was, I don't even know, but I was wondering what I should do with all of the honey locusts that I split up. And just a little backstory if you don't know and you didn't see that video. So last year, I forget when it was, Rick brought me a tree, a honey locust tree, a couple logs from a honey locust. And I was like, this would be cool to offer as something unique and different for mini firewood, for the tabletop fire pit. So I split it all up, got it all drying, treated, everything. It's all ready to go. And then I did a test burn with it. And I found that it doesn't really burn. It doesn't give off very good flames. It gives off flames, but not like great flames. And it burns really slow and really hot. And so I got thinking, it might not be the best wood to just offer as a standalone option for mini firewood. And so I was working with the creative department, working with the marketing team, and what we came up with was to have a little mix. And what are we going to put in the mix? Well, we're going to put in the mix one of the woods that I think, one of the species of wood, mini firewood, that I think has a great flame, a little maple. So we're going to add maple to the mix. So we've got honey locust, we got maple, and then to top it off, we're going to add in cherry. So we're going to have cherry maple, and honey locust. And this little trifecta, this little mix, we are going to call the Sweet Heat Mix for mini firewood. Because you're going to have a little sweet aroma with the cherry. You're going to have some great flames from the maple, and you are going to have the heat with the honey locust. So the Sweet Heat Mix, the mini firewood mix, is available right now. If you've been over to the website, actually yesterday it went live. If you went over to the website, you may have seen a pop-up notification on it. If you are on the email list, I sent out a few emails, but I think the priority was to anyone who's already ordered mini firewood. So you may not have gotten that email unless you've ordered mini firewood before. But yeah, the Sweet Heat Mix for the fall. Now things are cooling off. You're sitting out there on that patio. You're having a nice little tabletop fire pit experience. What better way than to have some little sweet aroma from the cherry, some great flames from the maple, and some long-lasting heat from the honey locust. Limited edition, one of the signature series, again, kind of like the Flames of the Northwoods. This is kind of like an offshoot of the Flames of the Northwoods. The Sweet Heat Mix is available online right now. Again, cherry, honey locust, and maple. I think it's going to burn great. I was thinking of just mixing like a cherry in with the honey locust, but then I thought, you know, having just like 1-to-1 mix, I think it would be better to have like a 2-to-1 mix. So like there's 2 other species along with the honey locust to kind of get that, just get that burn going. And that honey locust, it burns really slow. So you only need a few pieces. So I figured a 2-to-1 mix, have 2 other species, and kind of have that trifecta mix. I thought that would be the way to go. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I get a few people interested and they will give me some feedback. So the Sweet Heat Mini Firewood Mix, again, available right now. And that's about it. I got to get a few more things cleaned up around here, and then we're going to get ready to run some of this big maple here. There were a few smaller rounds right over here that I did run. I'm wondering if all of this wood is going to fit in the bunker. We will find out very soon. In fact, I think maybe tomorrow or this weekend. I just got to check Amanda's work schedule because I'm going to need her out here because nobody moves the big rounds of maple around better than the amazing Amanda. So that will do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool with the Sweet Heat Mini Firewood Mix. Oh yeah.